Welcome back to the Awaken with Love and Rise with Pure Joy podcast. And I'm Katie Joy. And if you've been here before, thank you for being back again. If you're new, then welcome. Now, recently, I've actually pivoted in how I'm doing my podcast. I decided that to make the shift from the quick, snappy 2, 3, 4 minute, very polished, bit performative videos, because, you've got to make them really sharp, to actually relax a lot more with my cup of tea in my living space, to have you here with me in conversation about some of the topics I care most about, so that I can actually transfer some of those ideas and insights and inspire you into manifesting more of your soul-aligned goals. Being clear about what you want and moving into action. So speaking about being clear about what you want, I wanted to actually just carry on from my first raw, real video on clarity last week, and make a shift into sharing with you why clarity isn't enough and that you need to be in energetic alignment. This is really, really, really important, because if you don't have that energetic alignment, the clarity isn't going to move you forward. I'm just going to move my screen down because I do have a notes. Here we go. So that I've got about 6 key points I want to share with you. So forgive me if I do refer to it. I am still being in raw, real flow. I just want to make sure that I touch on the key things and I don't, waffle on or miss the key points. But one of the key struggles that most people have is that, you've probably done this yourself, where you've done vision boards, you've set goals, set your intentions, you maybe journal, and yet there still feels like that something's missing. Even if you have clarity about what you're doing, it can sometimes feel a little bit like, I just don't know why I'm not actually manifesting, moving forward. Why do I feel stuck? Why do I keep going into the same sabotage loops and patterns? And it's because while you might have clarity about what you want, if you've got energetic distortions in your energy field, then you're not going to be able to move forward with clarity. You're not going to be able to move forward with ease. You're going to feel like you've got things in the way or something's in the way. And it will block you from moving forward. So one of the common myths that people have around clarity is that if you've got the clarity, let me think about this. Clarity is beautiful, right? But clarity without the energetic alignment, it won't create the momentum. You'll end up being stuck. So you need to be able to have the space. And look, I'm in a fairly large space here right now. And one of the key things that I love to share with my clients as a really visible, tangible example is, if you have clarity that you decide you want to declutter the space and redesign it, great. But what happens with the stuff in the space right now, right? Before you put new furniture in, or you want to bring new toys for kids or new books or new furniture in, that if you have the clarity of that, but without clearing the space, you've got nowhere to bring in what you're calling in for the frequency, because it's cluttered. There's things in the way. And that's what happens as well when you have energy distortions in your field from ancestral programming, from your own life experiences. And a lot of this also is very much deeply related to your nervous system. And if you're not aware about my background, by the way, I'm a retired paramedic. I'm studied in chiropractic care, and I'm also studied in psychology and also a whole bunch of healing modalities. But the nervous system is something that I really, really am very fascinated about. And it's very much about the signals to the external world that you receive as the receptive tower, but also the signals internally between your nervous system, your brain and your nervous system, that also shares that information to your body. So if you have programs and conditioned experiences from your childhood, or even carrying the childhood wounds and the ancestral wounds of your family and your ancestors, and they are in your field, they will distort what you perceive through the lens of what you are creating, because your nervous system is going to either kick on the fight and flight response, or it's going to kick into the parasympathetic nervous rest and digest response. But the problem is most people are operating with a constant fight-flight nervous system in motion, burning out in the background, not just the foreground. And so even if you know what you want, you won't allow yourself to receive it. That's the big one, right? And so that's why sabotage will occur, because it's often very hidden. It's invisible. It's invisible in the sense of lack of safety, in the sense of lacking of allowing yourself to experience it. And so these ancestral patterns can override your sense of conscious clarity about what you want to create, and you can put in all the hustle and grind you like if you wish, or you'll even try and do it with ease and flow, but it will just still feel like it's not manifesting in the way that you're hoping to. You'll feel like you're swimming upstream, so to speak. So let me give you an example of myself personally. And I'm going to use an example that it's a little highly charged because of the person involved. People either really love her or they're anti-her these days, which is fine. I just want to invite you to think about the experience that I'm sharing here. Okay, because this is what's really important. And it was a memorable moment for me that I can explain this with you. So I actually got to be on stage with Oprah Winfrey back in December of 2015 here in my home city in Perth, Western Australia. And I was blessed to have her announce to the entire auditorium, 15,000 people, about my story of how gratitude literally saved my life. And during that experience, it was really amazing to be seen, if you like, validated, holding hands with Oprah Winfrey on stage. It was a moment I had imagined would basically mean that I'd made it. And yet, even with all the accomplishments and the achievement and the accolade and the attention and just even literally her sharing with me, you're amazing, you're awesome, what you're doing is amazing. It was really odd because it didn't land internally with me. It was a bit surreal. I got it intellectually, but emotionally I still felt quite empty. I felt like I still needed to prove myself for more, because the underlying patterns underneath that, as I continue doing more inner work, which I've been doing inner work for 30 years, right? 30 significant years. And I thought I'd already done a lot of the inner work up until that point as well. But one of the key distinctions is that I was very aware, or became aware, that some of the energetic distortions I was still carrying was around being approved of in my family patterns, that it didn't matter what I was going to accomplish, I was still never going to be enough. Now, obviously, that's a lot of deeper inner work, but it's just an example of how you can be clear about what you're creating, but if you don't clear those distortions, it's just not going to give you the momentum or the manifestation that you're looking for. That includes fulfillment and meaning. And that's a really big factor as well. I've got a candle burning over there, and it's starting to catch me a little bit, so forgive me if I do cough. So let me just take a little sip. And with the energetic distortions and clearing those, one of the things that I love to do with my clients is go deep dives with those. I have a program called the Awakened Soul Program. In fact, we just finished one round of it this couple of weeks ago, and we only run it three times a year. But what I'd run prior to that is the Soul Goal Mapping Challenge, and it's a 5-day event. It's free, and there is a VIP option. So in the future, it's not open yet, but you can get on the wait list, so you can check the link down below. But it's a 5-day challenge where I take you through all the energy blocks and look at the energy clearing. Now, my dogs are going to bark, my puppies, because people are bringing in their bins off the street for the bin day. It's all right, girls. I have 2 toy poodles. One's a teacup poodle, but they're on the couch. So you can probably check the last video before this one and you'll see them. But this soul goal mapping, I take you through that whole step-by-step process about getting clear about what you want, and then looking at some of the key energy blocks that get in the way, and I show you how to clear them, and like through the different lenses and the distortions that get in the way. so that you have clarity for your own bespoke map of what you're creating for soul aligned success. If that appeals to you, it's something you're looking for that missing piece, you've done a lot of work, but it's still not adding up for you, then make sure you join the Soul Goal Mapping Challenge, because that's a whole lot of fun and it's so totally rewarding for you. Definitely also, I encourage you to get the VIP option as well. It's US $47 if you jump in on that, and you also get a copy of my Gratitude Gains Appreciation Journal. So the waitlist is open. There's a whole bunch of other bonuses in the VIP, but which you can upgrade to on when we open up the doors and you sign up, and then on the other side of that sign up page you can go on VIP. But for now, the only thing you're exchanging is your name and email to register for the waitlist to let us know that, hey, I want to be notified when the next one's on. So I'll give you a heads up, it's going to be September 2025 as I film this. And so it's a few months away, but that's going to be here quicker than you think. The other thing too, I do have another little immediate workshop for you now that's free that you can access, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. And it's called Your Clarity Map. But let me just explain a little bit more about the energy shift, the alignment shift that helps you not just have clarity, but have the flow of energy that supports that clarity so you can move into a momentum. And so one of the key things is the alignment shift that you'll identify when you have it is that you'll have a whole body, mind, spirit, heart, heck yes experience moment. If you have anything that's less than that, that just lets you know that there's an opportunity to explore, what might be limiting, or what might be a story I'm telling myself, or what might be a program that I've been subconsciously operating from that I've assumed is true. And it's pretty easy to look into those when you're looking at family patterns. And if you're a parent, I bet you, like myself, I'm like, I'm not going to talk to my kids like my parents. And then next thing you know is like, oh my God, I sound like my mum. Or, oh my goodness, I sound like my dad. And you're probably conscious like me where you're like, oh, course correct. But that's an example of how deeply subconscious familial patterns are, and how they actually impact every decision we make and action we take. And there's familial patterns around everything. So money, relationships, your relationship with yourself, your relationship on how you manifest your goals, or even if you can have them, right? Have you been brought up in a family unit that you didn't get any self-individuation? You were an extension of the family. You had your certain role to play, and there was a family member, maybe your father or your mother, who was the authority figure, and you didn't get to have a consideration for your own pathway. That's a big one for a lot of people. And, now we're bringing in not only family dynamics, but potentially also toxic patterns in families, even narcissism. A lot of people I attract are empaths. I relate to being a super empath. And this is when you... I'll go do it on a deeper video for you, this one another time. But a super empath, in my opinion, is someone who has high intuition, very distilled pattern recognition, really tuned into energy, specifically because they've done a lot of the inner work to clear the distortions in the energy field. So the BS meter, the radar, is hyper aware, and not from a sense of safety anymore, where you're trying to stay safe, and that's why you're hyper aware, but because you just have the recognition of the patterns in the energy field, in people's actions, behaviors, their words, their lack of words. And so that's how I actually work very deeply with a lot of my clients, all my clients, in one-on-one and also in the group containers that we have. And so with one of the alignment check-ins as well, I do a practice called GGA, Gratitude Gains Appreciation. And this is central to everything I do because it raises your frequency. And what you manifest is not about the clarity that you have, it's about your vibration. And so when you have a focus on what you're grateful for, the gains you've made, big and small, and you celebrate them, as well as appreciate you, yourself, that's key because a lot of people discount themselves, your life, your what you've created, the momentum you've already had, the people in your life, what you have now, but it's deeper than gratitude. It's really going into appreciating in detail about the value of that. It really raises the signal in your cells, so your nervous system relaxes and calms. It's no longer in threat and scarcity mode. It moves into abundance. And so you're setting up a whole new signal within your nervous system. And from there, you have a different lens that you're looking through, and you're able to create a different set of energetic blueprints for how you're thinking, the decisions you're making, the actions you're taking or not taking. But they're going to be more aligned and coherent, so they're going to be congruent with what you decide you want, and then the thought, beliefs and actions are in alignment with that. Is that making sense for you? If you're enjoying this, please let me know down below. Because if that lets me know, I can do some more content like this for you. So before I leave, I want to do a quick self-check-in and just ask you to feel into a practice that I'm going to invite you to step into. So it's as simple as trying this, like closing your eyes and just think about something that you want, right? Your desire that you have. And just think about that clearly. And now ask yourself, truthfully, am I feeling fully energetically aligned with receiving this? Or are there fears and is there disturbance in the field as you're focused on it? Or do you feel completely relaxed into it? Notice your body, notice your nervous system. And if there's any kind of wobble or some tightening or tension in your body or an ugh, then that's just your next layer to go into. It doesn't mean you can't have it. It just gives you that opportunity to invite you to do a little bit of self-reflection and explore deeper. And again, inside my core program, the Awakened Soul program, it's a 6-week, fully facilitated soul pod that I take everybody through. And I teach you the tools and the skills that give you the knowledge, and I give you the opportunity to not just learn, but to literally embody, really tuning into your nervous system, into your body, into your feelings and your awareness, so that you have a lot more connection, not only with your energy in your body, but also with your intuition to guide you for your next best steps and what you're creating. Essentially to help you have clarity about who you are in your individuation. So coming home to yourself, and for some people it's the first time, right? Very first time. But there is a process with that, and there's boundaries required, there's healing required, there's awakening to the programs required. But once you experience that, then you not only learn, but you embody how to manifest with more ease, love and joy. And so I just want to close this up. Went a little bit longer than I thought. I promised you a second offer to be able to grab today. So down in the links below, there's one will be get on the wait list for the Soul Goal Mapping Challenge. Highly recommend it. It is tremendous. In fact, maybe some of my videos in the near future, I'm actually off to Thailand next week, but in the near future I might bring on board some of the previous clients who were on the last round to maybe have a chat and just share with you what their experience was with it. But the other offer that I wanted to gift you to take action on right now is called your Clarity Map Masterclass. And in that, it's a 2.5-hour masterclass that is broken down into 21 tiny bite-sized pieces for you that are very specific, and it takes you through the energy blocks. It shows you how to identify them and even start to clear them. I give you a process there, how to get clear on your map moving forward, and it's a great place to start and begin. So again, go grab the link down below with that one. And if you've felt stuck, even with clarity, it might be time to check your frequency, not just your plan. So remember, it's your vibration that will determine your success with manifestation, not clarity on its own. All right, I've got so much more I want to say, but for right now, I hope that was really valuable for you. If it was, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. I'm really shifting gears here to invite and engage you to communicate with me and have a conversation. And if you've made it here to the end of the video, you're the type of person I want to chat with. So Also, feel free to let me know of any other ideas that you'd like me to communicate on in my podcasts, or even go deeper in if you heard me say something, go, hey, Katie, what was that? Could you explain that a little bit more? I'm happy to. So from my heart to yours, with lots of love, light, and manifesting miracles, magic, and more. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.